Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review for you guys. So the movie I'm reviewing today is Cherry Falls. So Cherry Falls was released on October 20th in the year 2000. So that means today, the day that I'll be posting this, is its 20th anniversary. It was directed by Jeffrey Wright, and it stars Brittany Murphy as Jody, Jay Moore as Leonard, and Gabriel Mann as Kenny. It had a budget of $14 million, but it did not have a box office because it was not released in the United States. It was released abroad, but I could not find any box office information for that. So they had taken this film to Cannes to try to sell it to other places, and it had sold to all these places abroad, but nobody in the United States had bought it for distribution. So it ended up going to USA Films. And this movie also came out right after the Columbine High School Massacre. This movie ended up kind of just getting this quiet release on television, and due to that, this movie was severely censored and cut. It had been submitted to the MPAA several times because of the nature of this movie, and they had been rejected every single time because they would have been getting either an R or X rating. And so they had been severely cut, and Scream Factory recently released this a few years ago, and they were unable to obtain a unrated cut of this movie, and that's what I watched. I watched the Scream Factory release, and so they were unable to get an unrated cut, and the director doesn't have the unrated cut, so there is an unrated version of this movie out there somewhere, and we just can't find it. So let's kind of talk about what this movie is about. So it's a pretty simple movie. The basic premise is that there is a serial killer in the town of Cherry Falls that is preying on virgins. Jody, played by Brittany Murphy, is the daughter of the sheriff, and the sheriff is trying to figure out what to do. He decides that he's going to have a full meeting in the high school gym to tell the parents of the school that this serial killer is targeting virgins. And this gets out to the students, and they decide that they're going to have a sex party, and they were all going to lose their virginity at this party so they can be taken off of this chopping block. So that's where I'm going to leave the synopsis. Let's get into the things that I liked and did not like. So while most of the kills are shown off screen and we don't really see too much of anything due to the censoring of this movie, which is one of the reasons why we need to have this unrated version released. But since most of the kills are off screen, they're kind of meh. But I did think that some of the things were interesting in the way that the aftermath, what the killer did with the body. So the very first person that was killed, they tied her up to a tree. That was kind of meh. But then the second one, the girl was tied to the ceiling, and I thought that was kind of interesting. It kind of reminded me of something a little bit out of the television show Hannibal. I also like how they don't reveal who the killer is until the very end, which will be one of the things that I liked and didn't like. But basically the killer has hair that covers their face. So we're not seeing the face of this killer at all, so we don't know who it is. And we don't see it, but Jody sees it during this chase scene that she's in. She basically goes to the police, and they do a sketch of what the killer looked like, and her dad recognizes this person as somebody from his childhood when he went to high school. Alright, so now let's get into the thing that I liked / didn't like about the reveal of the killer, and this will kind of be spoilers. So, the killer is revealed to not be a woman, as it's presumed to be. So it is a killer dressed in drag. And so I don't like that part of the killer being in drag, but I do kind of like the idea that this killer, because the killer is basically avenging his mother's rape, And so he dresses as her to kill children or kill teenagers who are virgins because he's taking away the innocence of them while his mother had her innocence taken away when she was raped. So I like that, but I don't like the idea of him dressing in drag. But I like the idea that he is dressing up as his mother, like she is getting revenge on these people, but I don't know, it's a complicated issue and I'm not sure what I like and don't like about it, I guess. I also thought that the casting was kind of weird, that all of the people that were in high school seemed a little bit too old to be in high school. Like, I definitely got vibes that they were in college, which, I mean, probably is true. They're at least 18 because there is some nudity in this movie, which I don't know if this nudity was aired on television, but it just seemed very bizarre to have this nudity in this movie when... And the nudity I'm talking about is during an autopsy scene, or they're at least in the coroners and there's a naked body laying on the slab, but this is supposed to be a 16 or 17-year-old girl that has been murdered, and so I just don't understand why they needed the nudity. And according to some of the things that I had seen, the final sex party was filmed as almost like everyone was like naked, and that just seems very weird to be doing when you're working with people who are supposed to be underage. Like, I'm sure that the actors were not underage, but it's the idea that they're playing characters that are underage and you're shooting them nude for a movie. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. So that is it for the things that I liked and didn't like. So now let's talk about what other people thought of this film. On Letterboxd, it has a 2.8 out of 5. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 53% critic score and a 31% audience score. And so I actually had watched this once before and I had given it a 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. This time I watched it and I actually bumped that up to a 4. I actually thought this was a pretty good early 2000s slasher movie, and I do wish that we could see this unrated cut. I think that that would be something that potentially could have bumped my score up, but I ended up really enjoying it this time. I thought that things were pretty interesting, and I did overall like this movie. So most of the qualms that I had about it were pretty surface level. But that is it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you thought about Cherry Falls if you've seen it, if you liked it or didn't like it, and why. Also, if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day. Bye!